All right, last night at UFC 306, Merab Dvalishvili became the UFC's bantamweight champion over Sean O'Malley in a pretty one-sided affair in which he kind of just ragdolled him for the majority of 5 rounds, not necessarily doing a whole lot of damage, but just kind of does what Merab does, okay? And it took not even 2 minutes before, in my opinion, Merab Dvalishvili is putting on display what I don't understand what it is from the Serra-Longo guys, but either way, dude. He's ducking Umar Nurmagomedov, or at the very least, it appears so, okay? And it's kind of strange to me, and I want to get into it a little bit. Now, he spoke about it in his interview immediately with Joe Rogan when they tried to go to Umar on the camera, and, you know, he just completely skirted the question and rambled for 5 minutes about who knows what, I don't know. And then he got asked about it at the press conference, and he gave an answer which I thought was very strange. I don't understand his hesitancy other than not liking the matchup to fight Umar Nurmagomedov. He's ranked number 2 in the world. Listen, dude, preface, I'm not an Umar Nurmagomedov fan. I don't necessarily enjoy his fight style. That being said, dude, the win over Corey Sandhagen is impressive. Merab Dvalishvili tries to downplay that. And also, he's ranked number 2 in the world, right? These are guys that spent how long critiquing Sean O'Malley for defending his belt against Marlon Chito Vera, and honestly, kind of rightfully so. Do you know what I mean? And now you are here immediately within the first 2 minutes of your title reign trying to duck who is seemingly the number 1 contender, right? Sean O'Malley's going to be placed at number 1. You just beat him over the course of 5 rounds. Umar Nurmagomedov is right there at number 2. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Also, later in the video, I want to talk a little bit about Merab coping for Aljo still to this day, okay, because I find it to be very strange. And like I said, dude, there is something with these Serra-Longo dudes where they've got this weird sense of like entitlement almost in a way, or at the very least that's what it comes off as, where they're like, oh, I need a partnership with Dana White, I need to be close with him, all this. Like, Dana White's got so many champions, bro. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's odd to me. I don't understand it. They have this weird narrative going on that like Dana White tried to screw over Aljamain Sterling, and I for one don't agree with that. I know a lot of people do, but either way, dude, let's get into it, okay? So here we are, an hour 28:50 into the post-fight press conference, and he gets asked about it right here by, I believe it was Oscar Willis.
Merab, when you fought Peter Yan, you were quite upset about the Russia sort of conflict. Is that still carrying over to Umar as well? Do you feel the same way towards him?
Now, firstly, I thought this was a good question, because I was thinking to myself as I was watching the fight, is this the reason why Merab doesn't want to fight this guy, or like give him, I don't know what I couldn't think of a legitimate reason as to why he wouldn't want to. But then I was thinking, you know, oh, well, they're not really Russian. They're Dagestan, which I understand is like Russian, and they fly the Russian flag and all the rest of it. But either way, dude, I had this question on my mind. I don't like Oscar Willis, but I'm glad that he asked it.
Umar actually not from Russia. He's from Dagestan, but he still represents Russian flag, you know. And it's not same, you know. I have so much respect for Dagestani people, and I mean I respect everybody. Doesn't matter where you're from, but no, it's not same for sure. Like it's not about country, you know.
Okay, so fair enough. It has nothing to do with the country. And to be honest, dude, that narrative kind of got painted with Petr Yan, but it was only because Petr Yan was being a dick to Merab, right? Which, I mean, who gives a shit? You guys are about to fight, right? But then Merab went on some whole rant about how they're bullies and this and that. And then if you look at the history of Georgia and the history that they have with Russia, right, obviously there's a little bit of, you know, open wound, I guess you could say, perhaps. Even though Petr Yan is a very young man, wasn't necessarily involved in any of this, and, you know, has just been training and fighting his whole adult life, so whatever, besides all that. But he says that it's, you know, that's not that, it's not the same, you know, so we'll continue. I need to pause the video every so often so I do not get copyright for the people that bitch about coming to a react, you know, video and then complain about reactions, but either way.
And I mean, this moment, it's not about like, and but no, like just I want to fight for the top of the top, you know. Like I think Figueroa, the former champion, will be 5th champion on my list, and he more dangerous, knockout power, good jiu-jitsu, makes people sleep, and it really coming from the 3 straight win, top guys, you know, and that's why this fight excites me, it makes me motivation, makes me work hard, you know. Umar, like I wasn't. Like yeah, he's okay, but like I'm telling you guys, from top 15, he only win one fight.
Yes, he did only win one fight, okay? Against a Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen is not a nobody. All right, he's not. And it was an impressive showing. He might not have finished him, right? I don't like Umar Nurmagomedov. That was an impressive victory. Anytime you beat Corey Sandhagen is an impressive victory. So yes, he beat one guy in the top 15, but it was Corey fucking Sandhagen, okay? He's ranked number 2 in the world at this very moment, Umar Nurmagomedov, that is. You've got Petr Yan already booked to fight somebody else. I don't understand who it is that you want to fight instead. Unless you want to be like Aljamain and wait a whole year for your first title defense or whatever it may be. I understand he had to get neck surgery, but like, Jesus Christ, bro. It seems like these guys, Aljo and Merab, once they get to the pinnacle where they now, dude, make hay while the sun shines, motherfucker. You've got the belt right there. Your paychecks have gone up substantially. It's like they don't want to fight. Like, what are you going to sit and wait for bantamweight to play itself out? That's crawling with contenders at the top of the division. Crawling, okay? And I never thought I'd be sitting here advocating for an Umar Nurmagomedov title shot, right? But at this given, bro, you're ducking him. He's ducking him already. And
that was Corey Sandhagen. So, and we all see what Aljamain Sterling did against Corey Sandhagen, make him slip in first round. So, I mean, I respect Corey Sandhagen, but so yeah.
I respect Corey Sandhagen, but what, dude? Finish the sentence. Oh, he doesn't make him sleep like Aljamain Sterling did in the first round. Well, Aljamain Sterling, first of all, they were in a smaller octagon, right? That's one. So Aljo didn't have to work as hard to close the gap. 2, Corey Sandhagen made an error, and he got strangled, right? Why? I don't get. It's so odd to me, bro. Who are you gonna fight, dude? Who are you gonna fight? I don't understand it. I do not understand it.
Is there anyone you would like to see Umar fight to gain that #1 contender?
Yeah, maybe against Petr Yan.
So he wants Umar Nurmagomedov to fight Petr Yan, who, by the way, is booked already. Which means what? We would have to wait for Petr Yan's fight, and then we would have to wait for Petr Yan to heal, get into a training camp, and get a fight booked against Umar. Meanwhile, we're waiting for Umar, right? Like, the timing is not going to work, bro, right? These guys don't fight during Ramadan. Do you know what I mean? They typically like to fight in Abu Dhabi or Saudi Arabia or wherever it may be. Like, this shit ain't gonna work, my guy. And he's already got the same mentality that Aljo did, in my opinion. Like, oh, they're gonna try and make me turn around, and they're gonna do this, and they're gonna do that, and I need to be close with Dana White and all the rest of it. Like, I just don't get it. We're gonna skip ahead in the interview 1 second. I've got it written down on my phone. 130, 140. Or around there.
Let's go to Jack Armstrong.
So loud, dude. I apologize for that ad. Let's just get through it, okay? It's unskippable. I don't know what to say. But, I mean, listen, dude. This does come off as ducking. It just does. And, like I said, I never thought I'd be sitting here advocating for an Umar Nurmagomedov title shot. But you've been champion for less than a couple minutes, you know, before you're already trying to skirt the question, right? So.
And then everything will come.
Did it feel good to get revenge for your team tonight?
Yes.
Here is the cope for Aljo that I wanted to talk about, okay? Because he said this again in the interview with Joe Rogan. Imagine what Aljo would do to this guy. My guy, we saw what Aljo could do to this guy, and he got put on his ass, okay? And I don't get it either, because, like, maybe Aljamain Sterling gets to you in jiu-jitsu, but when they're on the feet, Aljamain Sterling is not Merab. He doesn't move as much. He's much slower, okay? His entries in the striking are worse than Merab. They just are. You can, you know, there's substantial differences between Merab and Aljamain Sterling that allowed that fight against Sean O'Malley to play out the way that it did. And Merab is still coping to this day. And I do, for Aljo, I don't get these guys' mentality, man. It's constant, like, victimization of themselves. Aljamain Sterling's already doing it ahead of his fight with Movsar Evloev. Oh, he's on steroids, all this shit. Do you know what I mean? Then tried to say he would have been a slave 30 years ago in South Africa. Like, these guys, I don't understand it, bro. I don't get it.
Absolutely. See, I make Sean O'Malley look normal, and that's why I wanted to do it, you know. Imagine what Aljamain Sterling can do against him.
See, there. Imagine what we know what Aljamain Sterling can do against him. He can't get to him, one. When he does get to him, O'Malley was able to circle off the cage and get out of there. And then when when Aljamain Sterling entered, as ugly as he did, with a left hand, leading with a left hand, stepping forward into southpaw with your head right here, and Sean O'Malley's right, like, we saw, bro, we saw. No, so we don't know what Aljamain Sterling, imagine what I mean, listen, dude, what are you talking about here? Hello?
If he wasn't lucky and if Mark Goddard not stopped the fight early.
If he wasn't lucky and if Mark Goddard didn't stop the fight early. That's what we've got going on here, man. These guys are the victimization, the self-victimization, the whatever you want to call it, dude. Listen, congrats to Merab. He's the champion of the world, okay? Do you know what I mean? He works hard as shit. You can see this in the way that he fights. And I'm not trying to take that away from him. But I don't understand the mentality that these guys have. Aside from the physical training aspect of it, he's an absolute fucking beast. But when it comes to doing business with the UFC, it's like they create this narrative in their head that the relationship is antagonistic in nature, okay? And then the way that they act and portray themselves in these business negotiations and in the way they promote themselves, it makes them antagonistic towards the UFC because they have to like struggle with you. Do you know what I mean, bro? Like, that moment right there in the cage. Listen, Merab, with all due respect, there's not a whole lot of people excited for your championship reign. Do you know what I mean? So when the UFC cuts to your fight and Umar Nurmagomedov is there in the crowd and you guys are at the Sphere and all this shit, that's an attempt to try to promote your next fight because you probably aren't going to do a whole good job of it yourself. I understand he does these funny skits on Instagram and whatever else, right? He tries to let his personality through and shit like this, but Aljamain Sterling, both, and Merab do this thing where they, like I said, they create this narrative where they are antagonistic with Dana White in the UFC and that they have to act a certain way to get what they want. And then it creates friction there. And then we see the way, you know, how Aljamain Sterling's championship reign played out and the ending of it and all the rest of it. It's odd to me. It's odd. I don't like it. And there's, in my opinion, dude, he's absolutely ducking a fight with Merab. Or with Umar, my bad, bro. He's ducking a fight with Umar Nurmagomedov, dude. Okay? I don't like Umar. I've said this like 3 times now in this video. That's what he's doing. Skirt the question in the octagon. Here, kind of, no, you know, he needs to do more work. So you're not going to have that choice, dude. That's why he keeps saying he wants to speak with Dana White in the UFC. Who would you rather fight? Right, as I said, these guys just spent a whole year criticizing Sean O'Malley, going at Sean O'Malley for fighting Chito Vera. Aljamain Sterling, chief among them. Oh, he should be fighting Merab. Merab's #1. He should be fighting all this shit. Well, you, motherfucker, should probably be fighting the #1 contender if you're going to be acting in that way when somebody else is the champion. Do you know what I mean? So, fuck you, dude. You can fight Umar Nurmagomedov when the UFC tells you to. I really hope that he doesn't. Either way, dude. I don't get it. Why do these guys do this? You were in a position to make a shitload of money. You don't need to be a pushover when you're doing business with Dana White in the UFC, but you sure as fuck shouldn't be antagonistic. These guys are your paycheck, right? So stop imagining these things that Dana White and the UFC don't like you guys and they're trying to fuck you over at every turn and all the rest of it. You know, advocate for yourself, but not at the detriment of yourself in the way that Aljamain Sterling, you know, a few times did, right? And, you know, it is what it is, dude. Just pointing out what I thought I saw. Either way, like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I will see you at the next video. Bye-bye.